Okay, let's see if I cannot ramble, talk quick enough so that I won't be pokey, and tell you about what I'm going to be fixing this morning. And I am going to fix a tomato slushy from our garden tomatoes. And so I've taken the skins off of them. I take and squeeze the juice into the food processor. I quarter them in a partly frozen state that they're in. For some, it takes around 10 minutes, the smaller ones. For the larger ones, like this, it might be 20 minutes. And you want to have it thawed enough where you can cut down through like that without struggling. Now, this one is being a little tougher to cut through, but you don't want them completely thawed because you want to make a slushy. So you quarter them, you squeeze the juice out of the skins and put it in there, and then I used the juice of a half of a lemon. I ended up with a tablespoon of sugar. I'm just guesstimating, probably 2 quarts of the frozen tomatoes, partly frozen tomatoes. So then I added a teaspoon of sea salt per quart. So I've got 2 teaspoons of sea salt in there, and I'm just going to whip it up, and we're going to have a raw slushy. Because see, if you have a raw slushy, tomato slushy, you're going to have more nutrition than if you cook the tomatoes, freeze them like I do have on another video, and make a slushy that way. You can do it that way, but you're going to have less nutrition anytime you cook your tomatoes. They're not all going to fit. So I had them kind of single file in a gallon zip bag. So it might actually be more than 2 quarts. Just guessed. I whipped them just a little bit. And so now I'm going to have room to add the rest of the tomatoes. But I would recommend really cutting them in 1/8 instead of quarters, or even maybe more than that, because these are pretty big pieces to throw into the food processor. Look at the consistency, guys. Raw tomato slushy. See, I got a lot of tomatoes that I got to do things with. What I've been doing is quartering them, partly thawing them, quartering them, and we've been eating them as a partly frozen tomato for breakfast. But just check that out, guys. I think it's pretty tasty, pretty tart. You may not want a whole tablespoon of lemon juice in it, and you may end up having to put a little sugar to your taste, but this is going to be straight, just the sea salt and the lemon juice with some of our garden blueberries. It's just starting to ripen. So this is heading to LP over in the garden.